Touchdown pass from Mixon.
He passed it.
Mixon passed it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Touchdown catch. Oh God. Just kidding.
Just kidding.
If you could share it.
Hold on. No, not that.
I don't know.
Wrong audio.
Hold on.
The fuck is... Give me one more second.
Oh, excuse me. I have a 71% chance of winning, and I didn't even put in a tight end yet. I still have Taysom Hill in there on bye.
Better not fuck it up then.
I'm not because I have to figure out what tight end. Because tomorrow's our trade deadline. Like it ends tomorrow, and everyone's wanting fucking like a ransom for like a tight end. I'm like, well, I just traded for Kyle Pitts, and that kind of backfired. Thing I was like, oh yeah, he's gonna be getting more with Drake London sucking. Nope, he gets just as much with Drake London still sucking. So I gotta drop Zach Moss for someone. I'm still debating. What players are available? That's how bad I only like pay attention to have fantasy football anymore because I'm so busy doing other things.
I barely pay attention.
I get Tyler Higbee, Kate Otten, Gerald Everett.
The only league I actually actively pay attention to waivers is my guillotine league. Because
you have to?
It makes sense to do it. But I'm doing well, trying to be the first back-to-back winner.
Hell yeah!
Hopefully nobody said anything incriminating because I was already streaming this, and I didn't realize it, so that's good.
Well, at least it's not for a full week, right?
Right.
Recording in progress.
Welcome to Beerfield. This is episode 460 and 461. I am your host at Beerfield Hop with two P's, Chris Hopper, as always, joined by Beerfield 30 at @RamMiner_FFP. Two numbers, one episode. That's how we're doing this week because next week's Thanksgiving. Right?
Oh, I like this idea.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
Yeah.
And I am not bringing my shit to my parents, so we're good.
I'm not planning to try to do something Thanksgiving night, so we'll not be doing an episode next week for Thanksgiving, so this counts as two. Because I said so, because I don't want to screw our count up.
Because them the rules, and we make them as we go.
I can make up whatever I want.
Exactly. Go for it. Do what you want.
Go for it.
What I do. We're gonna talk news, do some trend checks. We'll talk some of the injuries that just happened, because that's a thing. Because Thursday Night Football, of course, ongoing, as always. Your score check, it is Bengals 10, Ravens 7. Did Jackson come back? Yeah.
Yes.
He did.
He never missed he never missed a snap, so.
All right.
And Bro just went out.
What?
And Bro just went out.
He did?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Really?
I'm like watching the game. I missed it.
Okay.
He's now in the medical tent for a hand injury.
Got a hand injury for Burrow. It looks like an ankle for Jackson, and Andrews is ruled out for the rest of the game with also an ankle. So we'll talk about that. We'll get into other injuries around the league, some cuts that happened, some season enders. Yeah, and then we'll do some trend checking on guys over the last couple weeks and try to pick out some things that might help you here as you make your final push towards your playoffs over the next 3 weeks. So, because I believe
Touchdown. Oh, there's a flag.
pretty
Zay
standard,
Flowers touchdown, but a flag.
pretty standard these days of week 14 playoff start or week 14 last week of regular season. So, a couple weeks left.
Yes.
Getting close.
Getting close.
Super close.
What's fueling Beer Fueled?
All right, Ryan, go ahead and start. What IPA are you drinking?
I am drinking Witch's Hat Train Hopper American Indian Pale Ale. Comes in at 6.9% out of South Lyon, Michigan. And trust me, I looked at stouts today too. So
Yeah,
Maybe you
but
get there.
I just know. At least you're thinking about it. Dan, what do you got?
I got something far from an IPA. I have Edmund Oats. These guys are out of Charleston, South Carolina. So that's not where I'm at. But someone poured me a sample of this yesterday. And I fucking loved it. This is their Doppelbock.
Oh,
I'll tell you this right now.
oh man.
As someone who is struggling today, this beer is hitting perfectly.
I love Doppelbocks.
Yeah, this one's particularly on the sweeter end, but
is that Wolves at the Door? Is that what it's called?
it's called Wolves at the Door.
Nice.
The light on my on this desk is not helping.
Yeah, Dan's in a
Dan
hotel
hotels.
somewhere in one of the Carolinas.
I'm in Myrtle Beach. South Carolina. I'm staying right by the mall.
Gotcha.
Was work week out here helping us launch beers. Really good fucking productive week. Also have a rep that knows everybody, so it's just a lot of drinking. It's been a week.
Sounds terrible.
It sounds like
sounds
it sounds like a
terrible.
tough job that someone's got to do. I'm sorry, guys. You're welcome. I know you guys don't have to do this, so I
Yes.
got it. I got
Thank
it.
you for making the sacrifice, Dan.
I got you.
All right, I am. I'm going classic. So I've got North Coast Brewing Company, which they did. I don't think they've been on the show since Scrimshaw. Actually, when we did the bracket of beers that one time in
Yeah,
North
we made that
Coast.
Scrimshaw on
I think I've had Scrimshaw
way
on a
back in
couple
the
times.
day too. Yeah,
Yeah. But this is their old Rasputin. So this is their Russian Imperial
old
Stout.
Raspy.
Old Rasputin. They're out of Fort Bragg, California. It's just Russian Imperial Stout, which you can't really find. They're almost always barrel aged because of how well they hold up to liquor, or they always have a bunch of shit thrown in them and drink like motor oil. This is one of the only clean, classic, mass produced Russian Imperial Stouts out there. So, yeah.
It's good. I had a Nitro once, wasn't as big of a fan, but that beer is just done so well.
I can see that.
And BA Rasputin is also pretty fucking
Pretty good.
incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. More on those at the end of episode end of episode 1 or beginning of episode 2, whatever we decide.
I love how you're just gonna stop.
News.
I'm not even going to do that. I'm going to treat it like an episode of Doug or Rugrats or the 90s Nicktoons where you had 2 episodes technically in a 30-hour
Just
span,
split.
and just at 15
That's
minutes
right.
the episode title happens again and it's just split. That's
It's like the old '90s,
yeah.
the old '90s show.
Like, I'm
That's
not
all they
even
do.
stopping the stream or
they're
the recording or
two-parters.
anything like that. It's just 2
They're
in
just gonna
1.
change the title over. Just change
The title
over.
literally says episode 461 and 462. Or 460.
I think the
and
best part
461.
is you stop right when we're about to give the beer review.
Yeah. And then tune into episode 2 and then just
Tune in in 15 seconds.
And it says NFL Week 1.
What a cliffhanger.
stay tuned.
We're going back.
We'll be right back.
We'll be right. A word from our sponsors.
Indeed. All right. Deshaun Watson's going to miss the rest of the season with a broken bone in his throwing shoulder. The Browns have named Dorian Thompson-Robinson as the starter for this week over PJ Walker.
Terrible when he's played. I think it's good to see some DTR. Maybe the future of Cleveland. Watson's played 11 games.
They've split 11 games
total?
over 2 seasons for $91 million.
I love it. Just what a guy that does not deserve. No one else deserves the amount of money he's got. Just no one deserves. He's such a great, outstanding guy. We're all torn for him. I think someone's post, like she did that, and she said, "I really wish it was a career-ending injury," and just left it at that. I thought, I had a pretty good giggle about that one.
I could see that. I don't really. He's one person I wouldn't be sad about. If that were.
Nope. Jesus Christ. Beckham got some wheels, so.
Big play.
Yeah. All right, that's episode 461. Okay. We'll see you in 10 seconds.
See you in 7 seconds. Yes.
No, we're
Beckham's got some wheels. Nah,
and we're back.
We'll do it a little more split up. I'm not having fun with my internet right now. Between my internet and Dan's hotel Wi-Fi, this is not going well.
That's good for people when people are driving tomorrow morning and they're like, "Oh man, at least we're not hearing screaming, we're not hearing people laughing their ass off. It's kind of a little bit of silence, not too much."
It's got that awkward silence. You're like, are they really just done?
Yeah.
And then it just comes in really, really fast.
And we're back.
And then
and then we're back. Yeah, I switched home internet provider. It'll be a journey for a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to, but I don't know if I'm going to stick with what I went to, which is fine because there's no contracts or anything like that, and I can do something else if I need to. But for now, we're going to see how it works.
For now. We'll see.
We'll see. Anyway, I think it's the right decision to start DTR, though. They need another look at him after his dumpster fire original outing and to see if he's improved at all or can improve with reps or anything like that. But it's also bad for them because, they're still in that division race. That division's tight right now. So.
They just had that incredible comeback. Yeah. They're a half game behind Baltimore and tied with Pittsburgh.
No.
And
defense is good.
That decision is very competitive. Yeah, defense is very good.
It'll be interesting to see, but I think one thing I'm waiting for the NFL to do is put more of a premium on backup quarterbacks because you see with I guess the Jets could have landed worse than Zach Wilson, but now with this injury to Watson and with what the Eagles were able to do a few years ago when Wentz went down, having Foles, it's a good way to save money on the roster, I guess, having a low round guy there, but you've got what happened with Cousins now and a lot of shit like that, and quarterback depth is going to be more of a thing. Is a thing.
You think the Browns wish they never traded Dobbs away?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
Oh yeah, especially now.
Oh man, or not trade. I think they let him go. I think Arizona just picked him up. But yeah, that. Obviously you don't predict an injury, but still.
No. But still, you protect against injuries, right? You do it at every other position. So.
Yep. Well, there's another quarterback that wants to become available, so you can start it again. So.
Well, that is true. Ryan Tannehill has requested his release from the Titans after being benched in favor of Will Levis. Titans can certainly do this. He a free agent after the season.
It's who? Oh, Tannehill?
Tannehill, yeah.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
Yeah, because the last 2 years are void years. So, they could cut him for nothing in cap savings.
Yeah, I think they actually cost them nothing. They save everything because they don't have him anymore, and then they just go with Will Levis and try to build back on the fly.
Yep.
Yeah.
They'll have some dead cap, but
Yeah, but
Nothing too bad.
I mean, only for the rest of this year. Well, the void years.
It'd be 4.6 the next 2 years
Yeah.
if they cut him. Which again, at this point,
But
you have to see what you have in Levis. You got to give him time. They're oddly competitive still. I don't know how competitive they're going to be, but the AFC South is a bit, it's a bit more tight than I expected it to.
Yeah.
With them in the mix.
It's 4.6 million a dead cap regardless because those are void years. So it really doesn't do anything for them to cut him or keep him around. It's really just what do they want to do, right? And if they do that, he does become available. I think you would have interest from the Browns and the Jets in particular. But we'll see.
What about the Falcons?
With Heine?
I don't know that Tannehill's an upgrade over Heineke at this stage.
He's not. If he is, it ain't much.
So I don't really see the Falcons getting too involved because I don't know that he's. Yeah, I really don't know that he's an upgrade. He's got 2 touchdowns to 6 picks right now. 62% completion percentage. I mean, I don't think they're doing that.
Jake Browning is in for Cincinnati.
Oh boy!
So no sign of Burrow yet.
That
Browning from old Washington quarterback, brought in from Minnesota. We'll
look good for my Baltimore defense that I'm playing tonight.
Yeah, this game became hard for people, I think.
It's much for the over. It's so much for the over that I was in a bet.
I mean, you got Jackson in. My hope is that, you got Jackson. We should talk this Andrews thing for a minute. Obviously, we don't know severity or anything like that, but, should he miss time, this is an interesting thing to watch because it's going to force, you're going to force Lamar to go to his receivers, and I think you get immediate benefit out of that from Zay Flowers and Odell Beckham. Particularly Beckham, who's been starting to come on over the last couple weeks anyway.
Yeah. And Isaiah likely will be plucked in as the true backup tight end.
I'd say that's
who's already gotten some work. Yeah.
Very likely.
Then very likely that it's likely. And then Bateman will also have an increased run. And guys like Nelson Aguilar will also see some play.
And likely is a plug and play starter. We saw that last year when Andrews missed time. Likely will be a plug him in and play him type of start.
Yep.
We'll wait and see what that prognosis is. But I didn't see the injury, but if it's high ankle, then you're still talking several weeks, at least the rest of the fantasy football regular season probably. If it's worse than that, then you could be looking season ending or into the playoffs. So, yeah. Which is a good reminder that when you get late into the run and head towards the playoff, you should, we preach keep one quarterback, keep one tight end, whatever. Don't necessarily keep handcuffs around, but when your roster construction changes when you get towards the playoffs, you should keep, some insurance policies on your roster and favor some breakout guys.
It definitely becomes important as the playoffs start. And it's not even just, for your own players too. It's also a way for you to play defense against your opponents.
Yep. And we will talk about that more here in a little bit. Players returning from injury this week look to include Devin Achane, Pat Freiermuth, Khalil Herbert, Justin Fields, Matthew Stafford, and KJ Osborne all on track to play this week for missing time. Kind of from the top there, you'd expect Achane to fall right back into the role he had with Mostert there, where it wasn't one-on-one, but they were running track meets on everyone between the two of them. So, I'd expect him to go back immediately into a pretty significant role.
Yeah, and they're getting healthier, right? They're gonna Waddle. I think is still a bit banged up, but he's healthy-ish. Obviously, with Hill.
Report I saw earlier said that he looks a lot better, and he's been full speed all week at practice after the bye. So.
Yeah, it's wheels up for Miami to
finish
fully
strong.
take control of this division after Buffalo's collapse on Monday night.
Yes, and we'll talk about Buffalo a little bit more here in a minute as well. Pat Fryermuth coming back for Pittsburgh. That's not been a high volume passing offense, but that's definitely a boost. Solid tight end. If he's been dropped, you want to pick him up, even if it's just depth. If he was just on IR, you'll pull him off, and then if you've had decent contingency, I would recommend wait and see, because that offense has not necessarily been great for fantasy pieces outside of the two running backs, but it's a boost for tight ends, I guess.
He'll be he's your true typical tight end one streamer. He'll get 4 to 6 targets. He'll catch nearly all of them. He'll get you 50 yards, not a lot after the catch, and maybe you'll get a touchdown, right?
Yes.
And the tight ends are rough. Even more so than if it's not the rookies or the big names, it's yeah.
Yeah. They look at some of the other guys coming back. Khalil Herbert. He's not really gotten his feet under him at all this season. Deonta Foreman looked really, really good. So I don't know that he's coming back into starter reps necessarily. I think at best that's going to be split, and that's just going to be ugly. So you're not. And
I can't wait for the hot hand approach. I just can't wait for those very classic fuck you words to fantasy people is we're going to ride the hot hand, guys.
Well, that's exactly what they're going to do.
How's that work out?
I really think with the way Foreman's been playing, he's going to at least stay in rotation, but it makes you not able to trust any of them unless somebody, has a clear breakout over the next week or two. And you can see a pattern.
I can still see I can still see a heavier run of Foreman. They're also playing Detroit.
Yes.
A little more up-tempo offense that can push a lot of pace, score a lot of points. So we'll see if he's a little bit better of a pass catcher than Foreman is. So that could be where his role comes in more, even though they still have Travis Homer on that team, and Roshan's been non-existent this whole year. So
shocker.
Yeah,
I am utterly shocked.
I know.
With Justin Fields,
surprise.
Justin Fields coming back. He says all the right. He says all the right thing, all the time, which is good. He's a very likable player. Made mention of incorporate some of what he watched Tyson Bagent do, what Bagent does well that Fields doesn't, is timing and anticipation and quick releases. What Fields does well that Bagent doesn't is having athletic talent. So it'll be
it's like watching Taylor Heinicke. It's like watching any of those mid-athletic white quarterbacks play. They're fun to root for. And Ryan, he's got tattoos. His
arm sleeve tattoo. I mean, his dad
is a fucking
professional arm wrestler.
Lightning bolt.
It's hard not to root for a guy like that.
His dad's Thor. It's okay.
Dad's a fucking lightning bolt.
His dad is a fifth Hemsworth brother.
Fields obviously plugs right back into what he was, where he was. Don't expect any big changes or anything like that. And this doesn't move a whole lot for the Bears offense, I don't think either, unfortunately. So it's not like Fields coming back in is a giant boost to other pieces on that team, because we've seen enough of that to know that it's not.
What we hope is we see the run designs that they incorporated with Bagent, giving it to your hyper athletic quarterback. Hopefully we can get some of those boom games like against Washington.
Yeah. Well, and
early on this year,
keep some of those shots in there that you had with Bagent too. They trying to hit DJ more deep and run those with Fields, and we'll see. Stafford is good news for Puka and Kupp, obviously. Not a lot going on there with Rippon. Thank God that was only 1 week. And then
that was rough.
Osborne coming back just takes a little bit of pressure off of Hawk to filter all the targets, and Addison. And Jefferson could be back this week too. But they may use his entire practice window before.
I don't expect him to be back this week.
So that could be next week. But,
yeah, he's been limited all week. Yeah.
But when that happens, just beware. The target concentration is going to spread out more when the Vikings are healthy than what it's been right now, which has been a lot of TJ Hawkinson and a lot of Jordan Addison. So expect that to spread out a little more.
Especially Hawk. Like Dobbs' time in Arizona, obviously we saw it too. Zach Ertz and McBride get a lot of work. The tight end, especially like Hawk, is easy to fall in love with. And it should be still great for fantasy. Getting JJ back, we'll see how much that dynamic changes and how much we're going to see KOC draw plays for him right away, and what that does to Addison at that time.
Yeah. All right. Anything else on those guys?
No.
All right. Moving on, Gerald Everett missed 2 straight practices. He may not play this week. Donald Parham was very, very good the last time Gerald Everett didn't play, so something to keep in mind. Huge tight end. Could be looking at him as a streamer this week. We already talked about.
I actually might just stream him.
What's that?
I actually might have to stream him as one of my bye week tight ends.
It's not a. I did the last time Everett missed. It went pretty well, so.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on it.
Yeah. We already talked about Jay Jettis, but for Jefferson, still practicing, but like we mentioned, he might sit out this week and just maximize that window. Noah Brown, after 2 massive games, not practicing this week. He's looked really, really good the last 2 weeks in Houston, but he's not practicing, whereas Nico Collins is practicing and probably on his way back. Can't tell.
Oh, good.
Shouldn't be much of a drop off there, but just knowing pieces. Other side of that, Dameon Pierce is still not practicing, so Devin Singletary will get some more run in that offense. Big week last week. Trade windows open if you're in Dynasty and holding.
Yes, sir.
By the way, that flurry of trades was not anything I went out and sought. I just looked at my trade inbox and said, fuck it.
Okay.
Yeah, you really lit up the dynamite on that one.
You got two firsts out of it. Something wrong with that. Jake Browning hurt now? No, it's still Burrow.
Yeah. I did get 2 firsts out of one of those deals, and I got a third and AJ Dillon for Singletary, which is just okay if Aaron Jones ever leaves town and Dillon hits, and that's another flip piece. So it's what it is. Need draft picks. We talked Pierce, HM we talked about earlier. Michael Carter claimed off waivers by the Cardinals after being released by the Jets. So James Conner potentially coming back. DeMarcado has been their backup dealing with a toe injury. Ingram's been hurt / not used. Could be a chance for Carter to fall into a pass catching role a little bit more. We know that James Conner isn't somebody you necessarily want handling a full workload. So you get Carter into the offense until late season, like change of pace role, that could have value.
Yeah, plus he doesn't cost anything, and James Conner could walk this year, so who knows what happens with Carter next year.
Right. So just a note, he's finally free of being buried. No fault of his own that's how that ended up. If you're the Jets and you had an opportunity at Breece Hall, of course you're going to do that. And Carter was decent when he got opportunities. So
yeah, and unfortunately he's expendable as a primary backup.
Yes,
with Cook there, even with how inefficient Cook's been there, he's at least a proven every down guy.
Yes. An extremely different size. Alexander Madison not practicing due to a concussion. Ty Chandler would be the next guy up. They're near the end of their running back depth with Akers hurt,
right.
And Madison not playing. Concussions have been 2-week ordeals mostly, so it's hopefully not anything long term. But you could be looking at a spot Ty Chandler RB2 week this week.
I was surprised they didn't the Vikings didn't go after Michael Carter on that one too, but
they may put a claim in.
There were
I
They
know
put
it's
a-
based
they-
on order.
yeah.
Couple
And they
teams
tried
put
putting a
claim
claimant
in.
on somebody else. Yeah. It all, and again, they need, bigger size and depth too. And
Yeah.
Carter's just not that.
He's not. No, he's not. I mean, you've got, if you want outside explosion, you can incorporate Wanwu into the offense a little bit more when he's healthy because that dude is explosive as hell. But
Yeah.
it's not the style that they're looking for. What they've shown us. So it'll be Ty Chandler.
Yep.
Frank Reich is taking back play calling duties in Carolina. Thomas Brown took them from Reich in mid-October. The Panthers have since scored just 2 touchdowns over 4 weeks in that time frame. So Reich taking play calling.
I don't think it changes anything. Bears fans still enjoying the first overall pick.
Might be good for Thielen because that's about when his target volume went down is
He-
when the play calling changed. But yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Bengals updates. They obviously not too much of a big deal now because they're playing. Burrow's still out. Higgins and Yoshibis both missing this week. Irwin plugged in. Stanley Morgan Jr., the wide receiver 4. That game's going on right now, so don't know why I even put that in there. Nick Chubb, second surgery to repair a torn ACL. It was originally believed that he only tore his MCL. So with that surgery happening in November, they're saying he will be back the 2024 season, but nobody's saying back to start the 2024 season. It did end up being ACL. Not meniscus, though. At least not a full rebuild.
Yeah.
But
So Jerome Fork actually holds some value. It could be a cheap keeper and a nice dynasty asset to start the season out.
just to start, yeah. And Chubb could be at a nice discount to start next season out. Probably a lot like where we saw Jonathan Taylor. Now, I'm not saying anything about how
Especially
those things have worked out, but
they're gonna just bring in Zach Moss. No, it's gonna really too depend on how Cleveland attacks the offseason for the running back position. Obviously, we're gonna be watching to see if they add anybody of any significance or use any significant capital to help bolster that depth while they wait for Chubb to get back to full 100.
yeah. All right. Bills fired Ken Dorsey. Joe Brady's been named the new offensive coordinator. And when you look at the offensive metrics, like it had gone stale, but the Bills' offense overall was not bad in the metrics and the way that they were chunking plays or anything like that. So, I mean, to me, this reads as a total scapegoat situation. You get Joe Brady in there now, which I don't know is an improvement, but it is a fresh look, I guess. Dorsey's going to land an OC job somewhere else.
Oh, absolutely.
In the offseason.
He might take I think he'll take an assistant job to maybe one of his old coaches that are head coaches now. Try to be like a guy that can help in season. But yeah, he'll get his shot. He a lot of top 10 in metrics for Buffalo, and as Hopper mentioned, he is screams scapegoat. I think a lot of Bills organization and Bills fans don't want to look at McDermott and just kind of seeing what the team has done since Dabo has left for New York.
Yeah.
And just a lack of draft hits, through their draft class years, especially since Josh Allen, since that 18 class.
Yeah, and one of their big failures has been to get more dynamic in the wide receiver group your wide, like Gabe Davis is fine, is a big play down the field guy, but you're absolutely right. You can't rely on him as a 2. And with Diggs on the wrong side of 30, they brought in Kincaid to try to help at tight end, which I firmly believe was a tilt because all the wide receivers in that tier were off the board by the time he got there.
A 4 in a row went right in front of him.
Yeah, so I think they went fully on tilt with that. I think they're planning to go wide receiver. Yeah, they bring in Shakir, who started to come in, but they lost by 2 points to the Broncos, and then They lost by 6 to the Bengals, and it's not like they're not scoring and not putting up offense or getting blown out or anything like that. Their last
They're moving the ball, but it's just the turnovers are killing them.
their last 3 games they've lost by less than a touchdown. So the last 3 losses have been by less than a touchdown. So I mean, just one of those things around the edges that it's just got to be cleaned up. And I don't know if Dorsey took the fall because, Allen's having a Josh Allen type season where he's got a high amount of interceptions, but he leads the league in touchdowns. Also, like,
I saw someone on X called him, and I absolutely agree with this. He is our modern day Brett Favre. He is becoming, and this is what Josh was since college. Like he likes to play hero ball, and when your team fails to address the playmakers on offense for the past 4 or 5 years, relies on one guy, it's not hard to see why a team has fallen, or why Josh Allen has fallen more into his hero ball antics.
Well,
and
I think of the Bears a few years ago before they drafted Montgomery with like Jordan Howard, where it's like they don't have the running game to close out some of these close games and take the ball out of the gunslinger's hands to really manage it and manage clock and everything. They don't have that. And I think that's part of why they went out and signed Leonard Fournette, but they didn't address it in the offseason.
He hasn't played.
Yeah, you got a personnel failure there as well, because if you're losing close games, shit around the edges like that matters. And that's another thing that they haven't really addressed or solidified up the running game. Not to say that they haven't had nice pieces, but they haven't been a team in the Josh Allen era really that's been able to go out and establish them.
Yep.
And I think Allen actually hides a lot of that as well with his. But
yeah, because he's able to maneuver with that ball and just move around the field to kind of get out of everything, and then just hope for the best and throws it.
Yep. Mac Jones was benched last week, and the Patriots lost. Belichick non-committal on a starter for next week. So, might be Bailey Zappi time again.
It should be. It's not Mac Jones. It probably isn't Zappi, and Belichick's probably done after the season.
Patriots need to go full rebuild, and it's going to be hard for that fan base and hard for Kraft to swallow, but they need to go full rebuild.
Yeah. I mean, getting rid of, Belly, the whole coaching staff, the whole management staff, and you got to have the brain and trust that you can find someone that's at least somewhat comparable.
It reminds me a lot of what the Blackhawks had to do going into their rebuild, where it's like you've got to get rid of not just your normal high-end players, but you've got to get rid of the faces of the franchise and the stars of the last era, which is a hard thing for fans and a hard thing for the org to do, so that you can hit reset and usher in the next era. Not everybody gets the luxury of a smooth transition, and that's what they had, 3 Stanley Cups, and everybody wants to hold on to those, the Kane Taves era and those pieces, and it just became a time of, all right, we got to move on. We're going to rebuild, go out, get a number 1 pick, get the next generation of franchise faces in there, and make that happen. And Belichick's kind of the last piece of the Patriots, to say, all right, that era was a great time, but all good things in, and now we need to start building for the next one, which we've consistently failed at to this point, because Belichick's never been strong on his personnel.
No, and he is the epitome of the phrase, you see yourself, long enough as a hero, you'll eventually become a villain. And that's basically what, the fans don't see that, but he's doing the Patriot, the franchise, no actual service by having as much of an influence as he still has. And you can clearly see that.
Yeah. And he's been there.
The team, he won't lose a locker room ever, but this isn't the mid-10s anymore, the mid-2000s, where you can get away with a lot more shit.
No, and you're going to have to
win a bunch of games.
Pull in a fresh face. and
Yeah.
fresh dynamic to the org, and that makes sense.
Yep.
And it's not.
Our video disappeared.
What's that?
Our video disappeared on YouTube. It's no longer there.
Still streaming.
It's
It's
just-
just the logo. I didn't put video through it at all.
Oh, I'm dumb.
Also, Babe in touchdown, and Browning is in for the last kind of kneel.
Browning is Browning.
Yeah, we'll see if hopefully Burrow can come out and start second half.
I don't know,
Hopefully.
man. If he can't grip a ball, it's like, oh, that's gross.
Exactly.
That's true. Very true.
Yeah, by the way, if you're somebody trying to watch on YouTube, I did put the video away because of the internet instability, so I just threw the graphic up so it's not as bit intense. That's what that is.
Smart man.
But I am really that skinny.
It's because all you drink is IPAs.
You're wearing that
Yeah.
color too, yeah.
Yeah. See, there you go.
So anyway, the other thing is Belichick's been there for 20 some odd years, right? Something
30?
like that. 30? It hasn't been that.
No, it's been since like,
I've been 30. It's been 24, 25.
yeah, I was gonna say he came in
That
like either
sounds right.
99 or 2000.
I think he
right
left the
before
Browns.
Brady.
I think he left the Browns in the late
98,
90s.
99. And, most guidance will tell you that about 10 years is what you're going to get out of a leadership regime before you stop having fresh ideas or can make meaningful change.
2000.
Yeah. So
Was when he
20.
started coaching.
When he started coaching the Patriots. He was the Browns for 6 years in the very early 90s. For 5 years, excuse me. And then I think he had a stint in college, right? And then he made his comeback.
And
with
drafted
the
Tom Brady.
Patriots. Yep.
Hell of a run, but yeah. And it's not Jones and it's not Zappy. The quarterback that's going to lead the Patriots into the next era is not on this roster. But, if you're trying to save your job, then do something and at least let Zappy audition for a backup to be a career backup or journeyman. Which seems scary.
It sounds like too. I saw things come out saying that the locker room is turned on Mac Jones at this point.
probably.
You might as
Yes,
well.
he's lost it.
Yeah, he's lost the locker room, which again, just given some of Mac Jones's antics and who knows how much of last year and the debacle of not having a true OC
It
truly
hurts.
like hurts his development. It's the ability to happy shown, and you might as well see what type of spark it gives to the offense, right? We've seen, a quarterback or a head coach with the Raiders, like, sometimes a big enough change like that can help spark a locker room to start playing up to their potential.
I mean,
We still don't have that awkward silence.
well, it's because I'm trying to pull something out. There we go. I mean, yeah, not having good OC or being in bad infrastructural it'll set you back, right? We saw it with Trevor Lawrence too, and he's kind of having a meh year.
So look at
and-
Trevor Lawrence. He's still kind of, yeah.
He's been that 01 that 2021 class. It's going to historically go down as like one of the biggest letdowns.
Yeah.
The hype, like the pre-NFL draft hype on it was so high. Even the post-draft was very high. People were calling this the next, this is the newest 2004 draft class or the 83 draft class. It was going to be lined with superstars and
Nope.
Yeah. Brock Purdy's been the best quarterback out of the last 2 years draft class, so
Not, as good for
not
us to
looking
be.
pretty. Yeah,
Yeah.
not looking good for those 21 QBs.
No. Not if you were drafted. Like you said.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Warren named the starting running back for the Steelers, which doesn't mean anything. They've been pretty well splitting. So I'm thinking.
I heard that's clickbait, and Tomlin was talking about introducing the players, and Warren had a good week, and they introduced
Well,
him
Ryan,
as
if he's
the running
out there
back.
in week 1,
It's